website there. I just tend to use the Synthetic Turf Council because I know that website and I can find information. They also have information on the other infills there, fiber pipes, all of that as well.
Mr. Smith.
As it relates to the organic infill as an alternative, I just want to confirm that we're going to be looking at not only safety from a concussion perspective, we're looking at it compared to the crumb rubber, but also from a chemical testing perspective on those products as well. Something like a corn husk, I would imagine, is treated with pesticides or something like that. So I'd like to see that testing information just as a comparison. As it relates to this Yale study, just to clarify, my understanding, because I take my charge seriously as a town councilman. You may remember when we were doing the joint board of finance and town council, I was probably the most pessimistic person with respect to synthetic turf in the town of New Milford. I questioned you guys up and down. I spent dozens and dozens of hours researching it to make sure that you did your due diligence. So similarly, I now hear about this Yale study. My understanding is that EHHI, who presented to you on Wednesday, is the one who funded the Yale study. Is that your understanding?
That is my understanding.
And they're an anti-turf organization based on their website.
Yes, they were also involved with, at the time, Attorney General Blumenthal in 2007 was looking to put a moratorium on fields here, which is what led to the studies by the health.
So I can't find this study. So apparently it's not published. It's not peer-reviewed. It hasn't been reviewed by independent sources. And I'd really love to see this study that everyone's referring to, but for some reason, I can't get a hold of it. Do you have it?
I'll get it to you. I found it. I'll print it
Because
out.
all I found was the summary. I found the summary from EHHI, and I found the toxicologist report where they used methylene. Typically so I started looking at these studies when you were it was your associate was presenting to us. And I'm like, how did they determine if this hurts the people? And what I found was they were using things like synthetic saliva, synthetic perspiration. They were making like synthetic gastric juice. So if you took in the crumb rubber, how would that impact your stomach contents? So then I start looking at this EHHI study, and come to find out the way that all of these toxins that are referred to tonight is released is by applying methylene chloride. So then I start Googling that. I go to Home Depot today. It's the most caustic paint stripper that's available, and it actually isn't. It's only available in a diluted form. So to me, we're saying earlier we got to use common sense. I wholeheartedly agree we need to use common sense. So there's an article in the newspaper about 2 weeks ago about this water main. I'm a professional engineer by trade. That's what I do. I oversee the construction of infrastructure. Do water mains go underneath roads and state highways? Do water mains go underneath parking lots?
Yes.
Water mains by code have to be a minimum of 4 feet. And these are 6 to 8 feet or 2 to 4 feet deeper than what's required by code, correct?
Our understanding is yes. From what we
Same
found.
thing with sewer mains. Do those go under state highways? Do those go under roads? Do those go under parking lots? I mean, this is run-of-the-course stuff. This is stuff where if you're in the trade, this is total common sense.
So, Mr. Szymanski, if a water main breaks under a road, it doesn't destroy the road. We fix it.
No, it destroys the road with all due
A
respect.
$4 million, piece of product that we're putting in, doesn't that, bear a little bit of difference?
No, a $4 million product. First of all, my understanding is the budget's around $3.5 million. That consists of the lighting, which is hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Let's say
Then
$1
you
million
have two
product.
separate fields.
Sure, let's say $1 million product.
But you're making where are you making the assumption that it's going to break? It's going to break in one area. It's not going to break along the entire 100 feet.
Okay, so what you're saying is, let's say it breaks on Friday night, and we don't discover it until Monday morning. I mean, can't that destroy the entire field?
Just as it can destroy a parking lot, just as it can destroy a road. And we're talking, we have our town engineer throwing numbers of $100,000 around. So even if you want to relocate that water main, that number's totally unrealistic and high. Let's give some reality to this. And let's use our brains. And, I was...
Excuse me for a second, it did break. It did break.
No, it didn't. You don't understand.
Water came out of the ground from a pipe.
No, it came from a valve.
It came out of the ground from a pipe.
You are factually incorrect. It is not the water. A water main is completely different than a valve. You can ask any of the people in the construction industry here who deal with it on a day-to-day basis.
So is it, you're saying then we should just build the field on top of it, we shouldn't move the
The
water?
valve is not within the field.
Whatever. What is
No,
it?
no, it's
What
not
is your-
whatever.
what
We're
is your
charged with the
recommendation
details.
for this. It is whatever. What is your recommendation? So,
In my professional opinion, I think the water main is fine where it is, but if we want to move it out of an abundance of caution, it's a negligible amount in the cost of construction, and all we've done is focus on it for 2 council meetings. It's absurd. I'm sorry. That's my professional opinion as an engineer who oversees this stuff, not as someone who can't understand the difference between a water main and a valve and why a valve would potentially leak for not being used on a day-to-day basis. We see that happen all the time with valves. If you don't use them, if you're not exercising them, they're bound to fail.
okay, very good.
Thank